day, we put this incredible amount of trust in the food we buy. We just grab a carton of milk, a bag of salad, a pack of chicken, and we just assume it's safe. But have you ever really stopped to think about what actually guarantees that safety? From the second those ingredients are sourced, all the way to the final product you see on the shelf, there's this whole protective process in place. But what is this invisible shield, really? Well, it's probably not what you're thinking. It goes way, way beyond just a government inspection or some list of rules tacked up on the wall. The secret ingredient, the thing that truly ensures your food is safe, it's something you can't even see or touch. It's a food safety culture. Okay, I know that sounds a little fuzzy, a bit abstract. So what does a food safety culture actually look like in the real world? Let's dive in. To really get a handle on this, we've got to understand what we're even talking about when we say culture in the context of keeping our food safe. Because honestly, it's the foundation for everything else. So here it is, the official definition from the Global Food Safety Initiative, or GFSI. Just think of them as one of the major global players setting the standards for food safety all over the world. But what does this really mean? Well, it's not about what people are told to do. It's about what they truly believe, their shared mindset, and how they act, even when nobody is looking over their shoulder. It's the unspoken rule of how we do things around here to keep food safe. The GSSI actually breaks this all down into 4 essential pillars. And listen, these aren't just some friendly suggestions. For any food company that wants to get a top-tier certification, these are non-negotiable, core requirements. So let's break them down, one by one. First up, communication. This is all about how a company talks about, and just as importantly, listens to, everything related to food safety. A company can have the most brilliant safety policies in the world, written down in a binder somewhere, but if they're not communicated well, they're basically useless, right? The real question is this: is the message actually landing with the people on the factory floor? And this is where it gets really interesting. A weak culture, that's all about managers just shouting orders from the top down. But a strong culture, that's totally different. It's about creating a genuine two-way conversation where information flows up from the production line just as easily as it flows down from the corner office. So what's this look like in practice? It means safety isn't some afterthought. It's literally built into every single job description from day one. It means teams are regularly talking about safety performance, not just how many units they pushed out the door. And this is so crucial. It means using languages that everyone on staff can actually understand. And hey, this last one, it's a great test. You should be able to walk up to a CEO and ask about the company's safety vision, and they should be able to give you a clear, passionate answer. If they can't, well, that's a big red flag. All right, let's move on to our second pillar, training. And this is all about building real competence, not just ticking a box on a compliance form. I mean, we've all sat through those mind-numbingly boring training sessions, right? So the key question for any food company is our training just some lecture that people are going to forget the second they walk out the door? Or is it a genuine learning experience that actually changes how people behave? See, effective training makes sure every single employee understands why a rule exists in the first place. It's one thing to know you have to wash your hands. It's a whole other level to understand the dangerous pathogens you're stopping in their tracks. Competence is checked by actually watching people do their jobs correctly, not just by seeing if they can pass a multiple choice test. And really, this is the whole point. Everyone has to get the real-world consequences because in the food industry, one tiny mistake can have a massive impact. This is a guiding question from the GFSI, and it's so powerful. It's not just, did you have training? It's, what did you actually learn? See the difference? It shifts the entire focus from the process to the outcome. It's such a simple question, but it cuts right to the heart of whether the training is actually working. Okay, let's get into our third pillar, employee feedback. This is all about tapping into the knowledge of the people who are hands-on with the food every single day. They're the experts. The people on the production line, they're often the very first to spot a potential problem. But here's the thing. Will they report it? Do they feel safe enough to speak up? And maybe most importantly, does management actually listen and do something about it? To really make this work, companies need to have solid systems in place. Things like anonymous tip-off lines are absolutely crucial so people can report concerns without any fear. A really strong culture goes even further. It actively involves frontline staff in creating the very safety rules they have to follow. Why? Because they know the process better than anyone. And here's the part that ties it all together. When an employee does raise a concern, they have to see that it's taken seriously. That's how you build trust, and trust is the glue for a strong food safety culture. And that brings us to our final pillar, the one that ties everything together: performance measurement. Because at the end of the day, you get what you measure. It's pretty easy to measure things like production speed or how much you're making, but a strong food safety culture asks a much tougher question. Are our metrics actually encouraging the right behaviors, or are they accidentally punishing them? This table just lays out the difference so clearly. In a weak culture, a customer complaint kicks off a blame game. But in a strong culture, it's seen as a valuable opportunity to find and fix a bigger systemic issue. And check this one out. A near miss, where something almost went wrong, is just ignored in a weak culture. Phew, dodged a bullet. But in a strong one, it's treated like a free lesson on how to prevent a real disaster down the road. That is a massive difference in mindset. Here's another key question from the GFSI. It cuts right to the heart of the tension that exists every single day in any factory. When the pressure is on to get a big order out the door, does safety suddenly take a back seat? In a mature culture, the answer is always no. The systems are designed from the ground up so that safety is completely non-negotiable, especially when things get hectic. So we've walked through the 4 pillars. Now let's put it all together and see how this becomes a living, breathing part of an organization. And this is so important to get. Building a food safety culture isn't just a nice to have or some corporate buzzword. For any company that wants to get a globally recognized certification like FSSC 22000, which is basically a gold standard in the industry, it's a mandatory auditable requirement. The stakes are incredibly high. And this is not a one-time project. It's a constant cycle of getting better. Organizations have to plan the culture they want, do the hard work to implement it across all 4 pillars, check their performance to see if it's actually working, and then act on what they've learned to improve even more. It's a never-ending process of learning and evolving, because when it comes to food safety, you can never, ever afford to stand still. So, from the CEO's high-level strategy all the way down to the daily habits of every single employee on the line, this invisible shield of culture